Hey, good afternoon, folks. How are we doing? I hope you're all well. It's me. I'm back again. It's Graham Nichols back with another episode of the Coaches Cafe from the Priority Academy. I hope you're well today. I hope all is going well wherever you are around the world, whether it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. I don't really know which to say to you, but I'm saying them all. Anyway, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it may be. I hope you're all well. Today, I want to talk about being emotionally healthy because when we think about being healthy, we think about being physically healthy, don't we? So many people look after their physical health, whether it be eating healthily or going out and getting exercise, whether that be going to a gym or just going out running or walking or cycling or something like that for their physical health. But tell me, why do we not look after our emotional health in the same way? We know that our physical health affects our mental health, don't we? We know if we're feeling really rubbish in our physical self, if we get a cold or the flu or anything like that, it affects our mental health, doesn't it? It affects our emotions. We start to feel a different way. Well, who's to say that it doesn't work the other way? In fact, we know science has proven that we know that it works the other way as well. We know that if we're not emotionally healthy, that affects our physical body as well. We know that when something goes on up there, our brain sends different chemicals down through our body and they touch every single cell in our body within a second. It floods through. Have you ever had that feeling where you've suddenly shifted how you're feeling and you get a tingling sensation go through your entire body? That is those chemicals rushing through your body, giving your body different signals on what you want to do, how you want to feel. And that works both ways. If we do it physically, we can change emotionally. If we do it emotionally, we can change physically. So, why on earth do we not look after our emotional health as well as we do our physical health? And I think it's a real thing we should push in our system, our society around the world, is to be emotionally healthy just as much as we push being physically healthy. Instead of just having adverts telling us that we should eat properly or go out running or go to the gym, we should have adverts saying how we should work emotionally to become more emotional healthy. I think truthfully, I think if we're more emotionally healthy, we'd be more physically healthy anyway. I think emotions really affect how we eat, how we exercise, or how we don't eat and exercise. So I think emotionally, if we sorted that out and we were more emotionally healthy, I think we could really start to change our physical health as well. And that could only benefit us as well as the people around us. So, what I wanted to do today was give you my top 7 ideas for being more emotionally healthy. Why 7? I have no idea. That's the amount I came up with that sounded really good at the time. So, I'm going to give you a top 7 emotionally healthy things to do. And you should try and do these on a daily basis to improve your emotional health. You would be amazed how much it will improve every single area of your life if you're emotionally healthy. Now, if you are watching in, then please drop me a comment in the comments box and I can see them pop up here. Or if you're watching this on a replay, that's absolutely fine. Do that as well. Pop it a comment in and I can see it a bit later. But for now, let's talk about being emotionally healthy. So, number 1 on my top 7 list. Now, these are in no particular order. I'm not saying one's more important than the other. They're just a list of 7 things to help you be more emotionally healthy. The first one, number 1 on the list of the top 7 things to do to be emotionally healthy, is to choose your emotion. Yeah, might say to me, going, "What on earth are you talking about? Choose your emotion? How on earth do you do that?" Well, the truth is, we're always choosing our emotions, but a lot of us get into allowing the patterns of our emotions, to take over. And when something happens, we allow a pattern to run that creates that emotion, don't we? However, imagine waking up in the morning and saying, "Do you know, today I'm going to be predominantly happy, or I'm going to be predominantly joyful, I'm going to be predominantly excited, or I'm going to be predominantly grateful, or predominantly loving," and working that day every time something comes up and you don't feel that way, working towards that emotion. What we do when we do that is we create a new pattern inside. We start to create a new pattern of how we want to feel that day and how to overcome the other emotions with that particular one. So let's say you woke up in the morning and go, "Do you know what? I'm going to feel predominantly healthy today." No, sorry, I'm going to take that back. I'm going to feel predominantly happy today. That's because I'm talking about emotionally healthy. I'm going to be predominantly happy today. But then you're driving to work and somebody cuts you up and nearly takes your front bumper off, and you suddenly go, and then your brain goes, "No, I want to be predominantly happy today." So you sit back and you go, "Do you know what? I don't know the story for that person. They could be rushing to their hospital because their spouse is seriously ill or something like that. You have no idea." So you can just go, okay, never mind, I'm going to let that go and I'm going to be happy. You get to work, something's gone wrong overnight or something goes wrong at work, and you choose to be happy rather than something else. You choose to go, what do I need to do to be happy right now? Okay, I need to put a smile on my face. I need to look at the positives. I need to feel gratitude and I can be happy. Choosing your emotion first thing in the morning before you've done anything else, when you sit up on the edge of your bed thinking, do you know what, today I'm going to be predominantly happy, joyful, grateful, whatever it may be, really sets you up for the day. You see, that first 30 to 45 minutes of your day, if you allow that part of your day to drag you down, that's where you're going to spend the day. However, if you choose in that first part of the day to lift yourself up, that's where your day is going to go. I'm not saying things aren't going to go wrong, of course they are. But if you set yourself up to win that day by choosing a healthy, empowering, positive emotion, then you can choose as you go through the day to follow that emotion. So that was number one, choose your emotion. Number two is get outside and walk or run or cycle or jog or whatever you want to call it. Just get outside and do something. I know you might say, well, hang on a minute, Graham, that's for your physical health. I can't tell you the benefits of getting out and walking for just, it might even be a short distance. As well, if you've seen my conversations before, you'll know I have a dog called Charlie. Now, Charlie can't walk very far, bless him. Before we got him, he was battered and abused. So he's got some injuries, so he can't walk very far. So me and him do about 15 to 20 minutes just wandering around the block and him doing what dogs do. But then when we get back, I drop him off and I'm off on another walk for myself. That walk is for me to really walk stuff out, to really get some pace behind it. And I spend another half an hour walking. And I've only been doing that about 3 weeks. Now, I can't tell you how much that's changed my energy levels. Obviously, my physical health as well is shifting, but my emotional health, it just feels better. Even though I consider myself to be a fairly happy, joyful, grateful person, I can just feel my emotions just improving by the day. And it's absolutely wonderful. So get outside, even once a day, maybe twice a day, up to you, and just go for a walk. Make it a decent walk. Don't just pootle around. Get some energy going. Get the blood flowing. Get the oxygen going through your system. I can't tell you how much of a difference that can make emotionally. You can walk with earphones in and listen to some music or an audio book or something like that. You can walk and be working through your own stuff so that you're not working through it at home or at work. You can just walk and enjoy the countryside and surroundings and be mindful in that point. It doesn't really matter. Just go outside and do something. It's incredibly emotionally good for you. Number three is meditate. Now, I know loads of people out there who meditate, but I also know loads of people who don't. Oh, well, I can't meditate, Graham, and oh, blah, blah. And it's all about, clearing your mind and not thinking about anything. Actually, that's not what meditation is about at all. Meditation is about being focused in one area and allowing your thoughts to just drift on by and not paying attention to them. Meditation is about calming your system. It's about letting everything go. It's about just being focused on that one area, whatever that area is, and just noticing how you can, when the thoughts come to your mind, just allow them to go. And you can practice that time and time again. Meditation is so powerful. I think the last report I read said that there have been over 1,700 different studies on meditation about the benefits from emotional health to physical health to everything in between. And all 1,700 plus say that there is an absolute benefit. So it doesn't matter whether you want to reduce your blood pressure or whether you want to help with pain. Paula, as you may know, suffers with a chronic pain condition after a car accident over 30 years ago. She uses meditation to help with her pain. I use meditation to help with my thought patterns, with my emotions. It's an incredibly powerful thing to do. Now, if you want to try out meditation, then have a check out here on YouTube. There are loads of them. You can certainly search out the Priority Academy, the channel you're on now. I've got some meditations on there that I've created, whether it be meditations to deeply relax or a 3-minute breathing space if you've only got a few minutes, or whether it be something to help you sleep. There's meditations on there. And I also have a meditation course on the Priority Academy, which you can find as well by going to that address just there. Okay, on to number 4. Do something you enjoy every day. Now, that may sound stupid. You go, well, I always do something I enjoy. But I want you to do it specifically. I want you to pick one thing that you really thoroughly enjoy doing and doing that daily. It might be listening to music or reading a book or just anything that you thoroughly enjoy doing, cooking, baking, something like that. I don't really know, playing with your kids. It doesn't matter, but consciously Do it every day. Schedule it in if you possibly can. Go through your calendar and figure out where you've got 10, 15 minutes. That's all it has to take. 10 or 15 minutes. Right, I'm going to do that there. No matter what else comes up, unless somebody's dying or something, I'm doing that there. It could be anything you want. For me, it's music. I adore music. Music takes me emotionally to places that very little else can in such a short period of time. Music can take me to memories of the past, or it can lift me up into the future. It really doesn't matter. So my 10 or 15 minutes a day is listening to some nice, I'm a rock music fan, so it's some nice loud rock music. And really, I can be dancing around the living room or singing while I'm making dinner at night or anything along those lines. It's just something that thoroughly gets into my soul, and therefore I can enjoy it. And that's what I do for it's something I enjoy every single day. Number 5. I talked about mindfulness in number 2, didn't I? About being mindful while you're walking. Practicing mindfulness is something that, again, is so powerful. I often describe mindfulness as meditation in the outside world and meditation as mindfulness in our inner world. Mindfulness is so, so powerful because I really believe that if we can ground ourselves and be in the here and now, we have greater control of our emotional choices. Very often, if we're thinking about stuff from the past, we can, particularly if it's negative stuff, we can get down, we can get depressed, we can get upset. If we're thinking about something that's going to happen in the future, maybe we're stressed about work tomorrow, and stress tends to lead to us fearing things that we're going to lose, whether we're going to lose our job or lose our face with our boss or whatever it may be. It tends to be in the future. However, if we're focused on the here and now, if we're focused on one particular task at hand, we can make better emotional choices. If we're not thinking about the future and what could happen, or the past and what has happened, we can make better emotional choices. And you can practice mindfulness in absolutely anything. You can practice mindfulness when you're cleaning your teeth in the morning. Just use every possible sense you've got to notice how you're cleaning your teeth. Get the sensations inside your mouth as your brush goes backwards and forwards. Really taste the toothpaste. You can smell the toothpaste as well. You can look at what it's like as your hand goes back and forth, and notice your hand going backwards and forwards. Use all of your emotions to focus in that moment and be right in that moment. You can do it when you're making breakfast. Notice what you're making. If you having fruit for breakfast or something like that, notice what it's like when you're cutting it up. Pop a bit in your mouth, taste it, feel the texture, feel the taste, smell it, get all of that going. Or even when you're eating it, you can go through that process. Mindfulness can be applied to so many areas of our lives that we don't even realize. We might make 3 meals a day. Why not be mindful in that time? Whether it takes 5 minutes or 15 minutes, to be absolutely mindful in the here and now of that particular moment. That's practicing mindfulness and being in the here and now, which allows us greater emotional choices. What doing that at least 3 times a day, do it at the 3 meals per day. What doing that will give you is some practice on using mindfulness to move forward and make better emotional choices throughout the rest of your day. That's the power of mindfulness. Okay, moving on to number 6. These, I've combined 2 here because they're so, so important, and that's to grow and contribute. We have to grow as human beings. We have to keep learning. It's part of life. In fact, it's a universal law. That which does not grow dies. If you pull a plant out of the ground so it's not able to grow anymore, it withers up and dies, doesn't it? So we have to keep growing. The truth is, though, if we choose not to grow, or if we decide we're not going to grow, then life tends to throw some growth at us. But usually it's in terms we don't like, it's in terms of a problem, isn't it? Life will throw a problem at us and say, there you go on, now you're going to grow. And most of us don't even grow from that. We just try and deal with the problem the best we can, and we don't grow from it. So life throws the same problem at us again, and then again, and then again, until we finally learn from it and grow out of it. So if we choose to learn, if we choose to grow by ourselves, guess what? Life doesn't throw quite as many problems at us. It does still throw problems at us. That's part of life. We need to get used to that. If we think we're going to live a life without problems, I'm afraid that's not going to happen. But if we grow, we can feel it emotionally better. Growth really gives us a stimulus to feel emotionally better, to feel more emotionally healthy. And then when we contribute to somebody else, when we contribute to something outside of ourselves, whether it be our family or our friends or our colleagues or people we don't know, whether it be contributing, yes, we can give money, but if we contribute time in some way to somebody else or to something else in the wider world. If you look at my wife, she contributes to horses. She rescues horses and teaches people how to ride and how to look after them, how to take care of their horses. That's her passion in life, and she contributes to that massively. And that gives her a huge emotional lift. Imagine finding something that gives you and fulfills you with a huge emotional lift simply by contributing to it in some way, shape, or form. So growth and contribution, easy for me to say, growth and contribution are massively helpful when it comes to our emotional health. Imagine growing each day, doing something small to grow each day, listening to an audiobook or reading a book or learning something about ourselves or reflecting in on ourselves about who we are and how we can be a bit better tomorrow, and then contributing out to the outer world in some way, shape, or form. Are just they're so fulfilling that they fulfill our lives. And guess what? That makes us more emotionally healthy. And then number 7, I just thought I'd throw this one in just for you absolute crazy nutcase daredevils out there. Have you heard of cold water therapy? Believe it or not, cold water therapy really is a thing, and it is incredibly powerful when it comes to your emotional health. When you step in the shower in the morning, the last 30 seconds to a minute, or as long as you can stand it, of having it on ice cold will shift your state, your emotional state, in ways you cannot imagine, because you can't possibly feel negative, disempowering emotions when that shockwave hits you of that cold water. It's incredibly reviving, it's incredibly exhilarating, and incredibly distracting from anything you were feeling. You can't focus on something else when that cold water's hitting you, I promise you. Imagine being for a moment having a really bad day and coming home from work and you're angry or frustrated and upset and you don't know how to let that go, but you don't want to have that impact on your family. You don't want to take that to your family. And you say, can you just give me 5 minutes, guys? I'm just going to pop upstairs, and you go and get in a cold shower. And that 5 minutes in a cold shower, or 4 or 3 minutes, depending on how long you can stand, will be so powerful and impactful that when you go back down to your family, the frustration, the upset, the whatever it may be from your working day will be gone. Yes, you'll still know about it, but the emotion itself will have drained away because that cold water is so, so powerful. So, if you want to make yourself more emotionally healthy, I highly recommend practicing these 7 things on a daily basis. Let's just run through with them again, just so you know what I'm talking about. Number 1, choose your emotion. First thing in the morning, before I was going to say before half an hour or 45 minutes has passed, before 45 seconds has passed, you sit up on the edge of the bed and decide what you predominantly want to feel that day. Remember, life will throw stuff at you, but you can predominantly choose to be that particular emotion, whether it be happy or joyful or whatever. So, number 1, choose your emotion. Number 2, get out and do something, whether it be walking or running or cycling or whatever. Get out and do something. That physical shift in your body, getting the blood pumping and the oxygen circulating, will give you a huge emotional lift. So, do that daily. Number 3 was meditate. I honestly can't pass on the power of meditation any more than I already have. It is so, so powerful to get into that routine of meditating at least once a day, maybe even twice a day for 10 or 15 minutes at a time. To get into that habit is so, so powerful. Number 4, do something you enjoy every day. Schedule it into your day where you're going to spend 10 or 15 minutes doing something you enjoy. It doesn't really matter what it is. As I said, for me, it's loud rock music, and dancing and jumping about and singing along just fills my soul. Number 5, practice mindfulness. I've given you an idea of practicing mindfulness when you're preparing and eating your meals. That's 3 times a day. You can practice mindfulness, and being in that space of here and now gives you more control emotionally. And the more you do that, the more you build the habit of doing that, will give you the opportunity to be more emotionally mindful in the rest of your day as well. Number 6 was to grow and contribute. Grow in yourself, learn something new. Either learn something new from the outside or learn something new from the inside, and then contribute out past yourself. You can contribute to your family. I think that's great, but also contribute out past that as well. Contribute to people you don't know. You've probably heard the phrase, do something nice for somebody else, or do just go out and do something for somebody else that's outside of you. And then finally, the cold water therapy. I highly recommend once a day doing a cold shower or cold dipping. I know there's a good friend of mine who goes cold dipping every day up in Scotland. It must be freezing up there, but he goes and does it, and it must be absolutely immense to do that. I don't live near the ocean or near a lake or anything, so I use the cold water in my shower, and that just gives me a lift every morning. It shifts all of the rubbish away. You can do it in the evening as well if you really want to. It just shifts all the rubbish away and allows you to be more free emotionally. So those are my top seven tips for being more emotionally healthy. And I really, really believe that as a human race, we need to practice being more emotionally healthy more than we do at the moment because, well, quite frankly, we don't do it, do we? We don't have that practice for being emotionally healthy. Loads of people practice physical health, but not emotional health, and it's absolutely just important. So I highly recommend that that's what you do from today onwards. So if you're willing to make a commitment, why not drop me a comment in the comments, whether you're watching this live now or whether you're watching on the replay, and confirm your commitment to living a bit more emotionally healthy. But for me, for today, that's the Coaches Cafe done, and I will speak to you again real soon. Thanks very much for watching, and goodbye.